Okay, now I tried this earlier to do a little 360 driving video, and although I thought I had the camera pretty well wedged so it wouldn't go anywhere, it went places. So I'm going to try this again, and we'll see how this works. Now I'm pulling out of the Donlan supermarket in the middle of the first chunk of what we call downtown here in Pepperell. Now we think of it as the main downtown because it's larger and it covers more area. But an awful lot of this, such as more or less across the street from us here, is residential. Directly across the street, used to be residential, is now, as you see, an immediate care medical facility and doctor's office. It's not my doctor, however. Down Pleasant Street, off to the right, my sister-in-law, Linda, used to live with her then husband. There's a story there, but we're not going to go into that. Now, coming up here on the left, you see that building with interesting architectural angles and so on it. That was, until quite recently, Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkies moved down the street to a brand new building, which ties up traffic pretty badly first thing in the mornings when work rush hour is going on. Doesn't have nearly as long a drive-through, so it ends up with cars pulled over to either side of the road, letting people drive through the middle of the road while the drive-through is absolutely full of cars. Now all we're doing here is just driving around as a proof of concept to see how I like driving videos with the Gear 360. We're on Groton Street now. And up here is a covered bridge that actually was only built within the last few years, like maybe within the last 5 years, as part of President Obama's infrastructure program. But it's a replacement for a covered bridge that had been basically going bad until they replaced it with this new one. That covered bridge was built in the 60s. Apparently there's a chain of covered bridges that are going back to colonial times. That's just the most recent iteration. There were some people in town who complained bitterly that we spent taxpayers' money to a lot of extra taxpayers' money to make it a scenic wooden bridge, unlike, say, what I'm about to cross here, called Veterans Bridge. And as you see, as far as you can tell, you're just driving on more road, except that there's rails, and you can look over the rails and see the Nissitissit. I'm not sure if it's the Nissitissit River or Nissitissit Brook, but in any case, it's a pretty little thing. But boy, I like having that covered bridge. I'm certainly glad a little bit of extra taxpayers' money was spent to continue that tradition in our town. Now we're heading north on Route 111. If I continued long enough, I would actually go into Nashua, New Hampshire. I'm not really planning on doing that. I'm just going to go up to where the storage container that I store excess crap is. Passing a lovely old barn of the silo on the right. And coming up here, you see the sign that says Faith. You may or may not see it, also on the right. This is, here we go, the Lomar Park Industrial Park. It was named for somebody named Lamacchio and somebody named Marigold or something like that. I don't remember their names, but one guy named Low something and one guy named Mar something, who are partners on it. It's an industrial park. It's where I had one of my very first paying jobs ever, way, way back in the middle 1980s. And I worked in there in a factory that no longer exists for maybe a year, maybe less than that. Screwing together widgets, pretty much literally. They were pneumatic electronic circuit boards with pneumatic valves attached. Very strange. pretty much all we have left of the fall colors, as you can see here, some orange and gold and yellows and browns. It's still pretty in a muted way, but we're a little bit past the best of the colors, where we had some really vibrant reds mixed in there. We didn't have a lot of it this year, to be honest with you. I think it's because we had a considerable extra amount of water in the atmosphere. And it is still quite the lovely vision of fall on a beautiful sunny day with blue skies. It was gray and rainy this morning when I tried my initial video. I like this much better, although we'll see how the video looks when I get home. I just always find driving videos compelling watching. I don't know why. You know, there's nothing particular going on, but I remember back around the time, a little after the time I worked for Parker Neutronics here in Pepperell. I was living in an apartment in Shirley that was next door to my friend Jeff Wade. Hey Jeff! And we were hanging out together in, I think, his apartment, flipping through the channels on cable, and stumbled across something called Blank Duck. I forget the duck's name. And it was just that the local community television coordinator for the cable company in town had stuck a little stuffed animal duck on the dashboard of his car and just drove around town, and then dubbed it over the sound of the album The Three Tenors, which was very popular at the time. Oh, now that's interesting. The gate to the storage facility is wide open. I don't really feel like going into the facility. I just was using this as a benchmark of a place to go. So we're going to come down this little dinky street, come out on the far end and take a left. Anyway, Jeff and I sat mesmerized for maybe more than an hour just watching the view of driving around on streets. Honestly, we could just go out and get in the car and drive around on our own. But we always found that compelling viewing, to the point that when we saw that it was going to be on, and remember, this is on the the community TV channel from our cable company, the little free channel that usually is nothing but Board of Selectmen meetings, town government, boring little stuff that townsfolk found compelling. Hopefully you won't be staring into the sun too long. Alright, clear that way, clear this way, and here we go. And you know what? My solution to the problem, where I've got Velcro, a good strong Velcro underneath the case that the phone is in, it's working pretty well. I really like it. It's not a phone, it's the Gear 360 camera. Anyway, here we come on back. Now I'm going to mention, because I kind of glossed over it because I was talking about other shit, but coming up here on the left, we're going to pass Pepperell Airport and its famous business, Skydive Pepperell. In fact, I think I'm going to pull into their parking lot and just go in and turn around and come back out. I don't want to spend too much time there. I don't want to be too much of a gawker or a rubbernecker, but on Facebook a couple of days ago, I posted about a skydiver who was killed in a tragic parachute malfunction. They flew out of here, and I believe here, since this is also where the skydivers land, I believe here is where he came to rest. Now, I don't see their plane, but they don't really look like they're in operation either, so I don't know what's going on here. But it's just something to look at as we drive around. This is a legitimate little airport. It's pretty much exclusively used by the skydiving company, which has been in operation for 30 years or more. They're good neighbors and an important part of our town. We appreciate them and what they do. Not sure what's going on here. Like I said, they seem to be closed, which is certainly not unexpected, mere days after a fatal accident. But I would have expected the plane to be sitting parked there. I wonder if they flew it off someplace to be examined as part of the investigation, or maybe flew the gentleman home if he had family origins some distance away. By the way, I bet that nose rub thing, that itch scratch on the mustache was incredibly telegenic. You must feel so privileged you got to watch that. Yeah, I'd keep your eye on the forward part of this view, honestly. Can you imagine if I got like whacked by some other vehicle while I'm driving around doing one of these vlogs? Boy, everybody would know whose fault it was. Probably mine. You're no doubt noticing that my windshield is freaking filthy. What is up with that? Oh my god! Sorry. And away we go. We'll see if when I get home I've got a package to pick up from my mailbox. I'm expecting a package in the mail today. The dash install